John Kubis is going to walk us through what is over Lake Ontario, but just about in the Cape Vincent area. It's raining very hard, and there's some strong winds associated with this.
Yes, the winds will be the main concern with this, Jeff. Let's go ahead and check out that Doppler radar. Now, with severe thunderstorm watch in place, but notice just off to the west, west of the city of Watertown, that's a very strong squall line, a line of showers and thunderstorms. All this activity moving due east at about 45 miles per hour. And it appears like there's a severe thunderstorm warning in place in the yellow. Notice pretty much all of Jefferson County and a good chunk of Oswego County as well. Let's go ahead and zoom in a bit closer so we can see where the worst hit areas are right now. Think over towards the Thousand Islands, Wolf Island getting some heavier rain and also some gusty winds. Cape Vincent, if it's not raining heavy now, give it a couple of minutes and it will be. Think Pillar Point, think over towards Chameau, also over towards Association Island, and just west of Sackets, just west of Henderson. You're not being impacted yet, but you will be within the next 5-10 minutes or so.
All right, so now let's dissect the storm, because what are you seeing within this? Because we have some heavy rain clearly. That's indicated by the maroons and the heavy, the reds that are on this map. Even the outline yellow and oranges are going to be where it's significant amounts of rain. Do you know how much rain we're talking about, or is it too soon?
It's too soon to say, Jeff. This system's going to move through really quickly. Like I said, it was moving to the east at 45, but expect a quick half inch, maybe 2 inches of precipitation before it finally blows on.
So if it's moving through very quickly, then we have to worry about the winds.
The winds.
What kind of winds are we talking about?
Straight line winds potentially up to 65, 70, maybe 75 miles per hour. The Doppler radar will actually show us how strong the winds are just off the surface. Notice this is our velocity data, and as we go ahead and zoom on in, remember, green's inbound, red's outbound, and let's go ahead and check out these winds right now just to the west of Henderson. Winds are just howling, Jeff. And it appears like winds right now about 26 meters per second, which puts wind speeds about 55 to 56 miles per hour. Have seen indications on the Doppler radar of winds even stronger than this. So expect the winds to kind of move on in along with those have a stronger, or the heavier rain.
So the reason that we're on the air as well is because the National Weather Service has said that as this storm system moves through, there is the potential for a tornado or two. Those are their words, tornado or two. So as this does come into Jefferson County, it looks like the brunt of it really is going to be Jefferson County, and move on through into, because this is moving east, right?
Yes.
Due east. Moving into Lewis County after that. Where are the possibilities, or where are the thoughts when a storm like this moves in that the tornadoes could possibly form off of this?
Northern and southern portions of the bow. Now, we always talk about hook echoes, bow echoes, when we do the weather class question at 6. I want you to direct your attention to this, what appears to be a bow showing up on Doppler radar west of the city of Watertown. You see that little bow right, hold on, give me 1 second. Right through, well, give me 1 second, Jeff. My computer's acting
no, it's good. So it's just to the west of Watertown is what you're talking about?
Just to the west of Watertown here.
Okay. And any kind of a bow or echo bow or stuff like that, that's where the strongest winds are. When we have a bow form on Doppler radar, that's the brunt of the winds. Those are the first winds coming in, and that's where the strongest of the storm. This is going to be quite a storm overall, but this is where you're going to have the strongest winds when you have that bow, right?
Yeah, let me go ahead and step in front of the chroma key really quick, because my
Yep.
computer is not allowing me to draw lines right now.
Okay.
Anyways, right here, Jeff, this is what I'm talking about. Notice that bow. Think Kingston down to the south, right through there. That's the actual bow, and the strongest winds will be where the bow is the most prominent, so to speak. So imagine due east, right towards the city of Watertown. The best circulation, as far as maybe a quick spin up for a tornado, would be north and southern flanks of this actual bow. So all this activity, like I said,
so at the top of the bow and the bottom of the bow is where you could have the spinning activity.
The spinning. And the best chance
would
be the northern side. So we'll definitely have to watch this north of the city of Watertown for maybe a quick touchdown, so to speak, of a tornado, a rain-wrapped tornado at that. And the strongest winds should be pretty much the center of the bow, which is taking shape right now towards the city of Watertown.
Okay, so recap exactly what we have. We're going to stay on the air with this simply for the fact that we don't know if that tornado warning could pop, but this is going to make landfall. We're under a severe thunderstorm warning right now. And given the fact that last year we went through this, given the fact that we just went through this last week, there are reasons to and proof to pay attention to something like this. When we see something like this on the radar, this isn't just an everyday thunderstorm. This is a little bit different. with the National Weather Service telling us that there is the possibility of a thunderstorm or, a tornado or two that could be associated with this as it makes landfall. As it comes across the shore here, does it gain energy, lose energy? What happens when something like this comes and hits the shoreline?
This is, well, it really does depend, Jeff, but all the ingredients are there for it to maintain its current strength, if not grow stronger. We may be seeing the beginning stages of a long-lived squall line.
Okay.
So we'll have to definitely watch out with all the heat and humidity in the air.
And that's just it, and that's the reason I bring it up. When you talk about hurricanes, they make landfall and they weaken, right? Because they lose that warm water in the ocean to keep going. Something like this, there's actually things in the atmosphere that'll keep a thunderstorm moving or giving it some strength, and it's because of the humidity that we have in the air. The time of day for this really is lousy. Well, yes, it's perfect for bad weather, but it's lousy, right? In terms of like in the time of day when this can happen, you have the heating of the atmosphere already. It's here, right? And maybe if it were an hour, later and just a little bit warmer, but this would have been something better to move through maybe at 7 o'clock at night because we wouldn't have as much heat in the atmosphere.
We start losing the heating of the day. You're absolutely right. Heaviest rain right now, Jeff. Cape Vincent, take shelter. This is some heavy rain. A lot of lightning associated with this as well. Point Peninsula, you're getting in on the heavy rain right now. Notice that purple? That's where there could be some destructive winds, definitely some very, very strong winds. Now, sure, that hasn't impacted Sackets yet, but it looks like it's heading your way. So definitely Sackets Harbor, take cover if you haven't already. Henderson, sure, it's not raining yet. Give it about 5-10 minutes. It will be. And as we look further down to the south, you've still got some time, say down towards Ellisburg, Pierpont Manor, Belleville, Mansville, looking a little bit quiet for you right now. But if you look off to the west, I'm sure you can hear the thunder. You can see the lightning.
Well, you imagine being on the battlefield in Sackets and seeing this rolling off the lake.
Oh, my goodness.
So we have the severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect. It goes until, it looks like 2:15 is what they're telling us on this, but we have the watch. It's going to go until 6 o'clock. But again, we're on the air because of this severe weather that's moving into Jefferson County right now, coming off of Lake Ontario. The ingredients are perfect, unfortunately, for some severe weather here this afternoon, simply because of just how humid it has been. I mean, we've had our rain, but it just remains humid. And here we are with this storm that's moving in, and we're looking at right now timing this out for you with where this cell is going to be moving. Remember, when we were on the air the other day, it was a cell that was moving. A lot of stuff last week was moving northeast.
Those were individual thunderstorms.
Okay.
This is a line extending from north to south. So this isn't one thunderstorm. This is many thunderstorms embedded in a line of storms. So
and going due east.
And it's all moving due east at 45. And notice how, sure, it's going to rain heavily, but notice how fast everything's moving to the east at 45. So Ellisburg around 2:05, Brownville just before 2:10. Here in the city of Watertown, 2:14. Evans Mills, Luray, Fort Drum, 2:21, Wilna, 2:35, and then Denmark and Lowville, 2:38 and 2:48.
And the folks, I was at the Lewis County Fair this afternoon for our noon broadcast, and the folks in Lowville paying very much attention to the weather because they want to have a safe fair, but they also want their opening day to go well. You have that parade tonight in Lowville at 6:30. That's a new time for the Lewis County Parade tonight, not 7 o'clock, 6:30. So it looks like this stuff will move on out of here, but they will be taking cover as that moves toward the fairgrounds there in Lowville, and we'll see what kind of energy it has. Again, it doesn't necessarily lose energy as it comes into land. This is something that can continue to feed off of the ingredients that are in the atmosphere right now.
Yes.
And as John said, as we have the bow echo, as you have the front of this storm come in at the north and at the south of that bow echo, that's where you could have the rotation and the possibility of a tornado, okay? I just want to remind you, National Weather Service saying there could be a tornado or two associated with this storm that does move through. So now that's what you're looking at here with this velocity map, right?
I'm just seeing what the Doppler radar is actually indicating as far as winds. That's 31 meters per second, Jeff. Don't let the minus fool you. That means it's just moving towards the radar. And if you convert that, that's almost 70-mile-per-hour wind. So
where are we?
That's,
where are
Henderson.
those? Henderson
that's,
is looking. So you said how strong?
70.
70-mile-an-hour winds.
70. That's just the Doppler radar.
And that's not even on yet. It's just coming into that region.
It's just coming into that region, yes.
Okay, so very strong winds that are going to be coming in. The ground is soggy, right? We've all had that rain, not as much as what Lowville had last week with the 9.3 inches. Things are soggy, so when you have winds like that, for sure, trees could easily come up out of the ground. Power outages, don't know if there are any just yet. This is really unfolding as we're on the air. And again, we're not we're not being alarmists. We're just here to tell you this is what is happening, and there are reasons to pay attention to this as we look at just the way that the weather has been last year, this year so far. And again, when you're talking about the rain with this, and I mentioned Lava last week with 9.3 inches, this is going to move through quickly. This isn't going to sit over the region, right? So as it moves through quickly, those rain totals won't be anything like what we just had last week. But still, as John said, an inch, maybe 2 inches of rain could easily move through.
See, notice, now that I'm able to draw, Jeff, notice that bow just to the west of the city of Watertown down towards Oswego County. Think about like you're at archery, right? And you're pulling back that bow. Strongest of the winds should be near Ellisburg, center of the bow, and that's where the Doppler radar, the velocity data is showing those strong winds.
So to the south of this kind of puts you outside of our viewing area. It takes you down to Oswego County and such. So then, you know, I don't want to wish that on anybody, but in terms of our viewing area and what we cover and why we're on the air, any sort of rotation activity to the south of this is going to be Oswego County perhaps, or beyond that, right?
Yeah, think Mexico, think down towards, was that Richland?
Okay, Pulaski, going that way.
Yeah.
So then on the north end of this, again, you have the north and south of that bow, and if we have some rotation, it could be, again, north and south of that bow. So the north of it, as it comes in, now we're talking northern parts of Jefferson County. Perhaps nobody is under a warning right now for any kind of tornado, but as we look forward and as John does his forecasting, which is his forte, this is the stuff that we just want to kind of give you a heads up to, that's where that kind of activity could happen if it does end up firing up.
Yeah, I think the main threat today, Jeff, is going to be just the damaging wind threat. These winds look, this is something we don't see every day. This is something that we see once in a while, so to speak. We had a storm like this roll through a couple of years back. It rolled through St. Lawrence County, originating in Canada, blowing due east, and it ended up doing a lot of damage up towards southern portions of St. Lawrence County before finally fizzling out in the Adirondacks.
You know, last week we talked about the remnants of Beryl, of a hurricane, right? What is this from?
This is actually, that's a great question, Jeff. This is the remnants of yesterday's and last night's line of thunderstorms that rolled through near Chicago. So this actually originated about a day ago. This formed, the sun set, all the activity kind of died off, and there was a little spin in the atmosphere that just kind of kept going, and here we are today dealing with that storm from a day ago.
So again, some heavy rain and strong winds, and estimating to be up to 60, 70 miles an hour is what some areas are experiencing according to our radar that we're looking at here today.
Oh, Henderson is getting some very strong winds right now.
Is that the lighter bluish color,
yes,
not the green?
The whites, yeah, the green is less intense, and as you get more colder, so to speak, as you get more of the whites and the blues, those are where the winds are the strongest. And let's go ahead. This blue right here kind of interests me. This is 38 meters per second.
Wow, that's going to be 75.
That's 75, yeah, those are very strong winds right now.
75 mile an hour winds going into Henderson right now and moving due east. Those are incredible. What is the lowest amount of a hurricane strength for winds?
75.
Okay.
Sustained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are gusts.
These are
but
gusts.
Still, hurricane force winds moving into the Henderson area at gusts, not sustained. That's pretty incredible. And so we have that along with the rain and along with the possibility of the tornado. I don't want to keep on, I'm not repeating that to be an alarmist. I'm repeating that because it is in the forecast, and you have to be ready. And if that pops, it will pop right here in front of us. We'll get that warning. Our phones will go off. We'll have it on our radar, all of that. But, you know, I think, I'm not the meteorologist here, but with this, it isn't going to form right now because this is just making, hitting land.
Yeah.
So is this something interesting you're looking at here?
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that before.
So
I'm just
kind of a hook. It's not really, but these aren't meteorological terms, but kind of like a hook here, almost making a full circle. But then you have like the green in the middle, north of Henderson there. That's just kind of weird to look at.
That is rather odd, but it could just be.
Could it just be the radar?
It just could be the radar. It could be a blip. It could be a problem with the algorithm. Who knows?
Sure. So now, as we look at this again, with kind of timing this out with definitely some strong winds. Definitely heavy rain. It is moving toward Watertown. 2:15 is about the time that John put on that, so about 15 minutes away. You know, you look at places like Lyme and Henderson, they're getting it right now. You know, then go into Lewis County and such, and that's going to show you that, you know, more of this is going to continue on in. So John just timed it out for us a little quicker now, 2:11 for Watertown. And then as it moves over, you know, into Champion Hill at about half past the hour, Carthage too, about 2:30, and then it's Lewis County's turn with Denmark-Croghan.
I noticed earlier, it appears like this might be accelerating a little bit faster to the east. When I first walked in the door about an hour and a half ago, I timed everything out. It was moving to the east at about 35.
Tornado warning is in effect now until 2:30 this afternoon. Okay. So live on the air as we get a tornado warning, and we're going to pick up where it is.
Okay, yep, all right.
So now what John is seeing on the radar is making more sense as they just triggered that tornado warning. And there we go. We're all going to get the alert from the National Weather Service, and that is going to be the tornado warning as we're on the air to tell you about this. It is telling people to take shelter in a basement interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. If you're outdoors or in a mobile home, in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Again, that's from the National Weather Service tornado warning. Do you have more details on where it is?
I do, as a matter of fact. It appears like it is, tornado was located near Henderson Harbor, 13 miles west of Watertown, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. So now I'm going to check the velocity data and see where the actual
and this is indicated by radar, right?
It is. Let me go ahead and verify that, Jeff, really quick before I speak.
All right. So again, as we're here, tornado warning for parts of Jefferson County. It looks like it's around the Henderson area. Whether it is indicated by radar or radar indicated. Okay. So there's rotation in the air. That's what the radar has picked up, and there is a tornado warning now in effect for parts of Jefferson County. Again, you're looking at areas of Henderson. And it says, just to kind of read this out, 13 miles west of Watertown, again, as you said, moving northeast now at 40. The hazard is a tornado and ping pong ball size hail. It is radar indicated. Flying debris could be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed, is what the National Weather Service is saying with this. Locations that will be impacted as this moves through. So locations that could be in the path of this severe weather. If it's not the tornado, there's still severe weather that's moving through, and that will include Watertown, Fort Drum, Dexter, Glen Park, Henderson Harbor, Sackets Harbor, Black River, Brownville, Chameau, Evans Mills. They're talking about areas of Interstate 81 between exit 45 and 49. And so that is what is happening right now. We're live on the air. You're hearing the emergency tones from our phones. Your phone is hopefully going off as well to tell you this if you're in the Watertown area of a tornado warning that it just hit moments ago as we live on the air, and it is until 2:30 in the afternoon. So we're on the air here for another half hour to track this for you. And so now, John, you've been looking at your radar here and being able to see the debris tracker that shows you if there's anything that the winds have kicked up, right? And so what are
not seeing anything?
Not seeing yet.
So what we're seeing now in the Doppler radar is rotation aloft. Think a couple of thousand feet up above the surface. Doppler radar not indicating anything that shouldn't be there, so to speak. A couple of days ago, we were talking about the debris tracker, the correlation coefficient. Everything is red. That's what we want to see. We want to see everything red on here off to the west. That's an indication of everything just being right.
But this updates every 5 minutes as well,
5 minutes,
so yes. Something could pop, right? It's not necessarily a real time. It's good. It's every 5 minutes, so we'll update here in a little bit. And what do you see there?
Wind shear.
Wind shear.
This is Doppler indicated wind shear, and that's what's prompted the National Weather Service to remember that weird hook.
The shape of it. Okay, so you and I talked about it. Yes,
that was the wind shear.
Okay,
that's the actual wind shear, and that's what's prompted the National Weather Service to pop off.
So earlier in the Henderson area, we were looking at some of the wind speeds of maybe 70 miles an hour as this was coming onto the shore of Lake Ontario, and now we're seeing again, strong winds of that nature, and it has prompted the National Weather Service to hit us with a tornado warning until 2:30. And could we back that out just to show the map of like where the red box is so people know? So you can see it's going to go all the way back to Lake Ontario. If you can see the red line kind of north of Watertown, follow 81 up, then you see a red line that comes back down. You can, okay, so you can see the box, right? And some of that red box you can see east of Watertown, but the rest of it to the west of Watertown to the north, yeah, we'll draw it out a little bit here. That's the rotation.
That appears just based on what I'm seeing right now. That's
the tornado.
That could be the tornado, right there, and more along the lines of like right here. Let me draw a circle around that. That's where I would put it, which means it would be rain wrapped. So now we need to check the debris.
Okay, you got to define that though. Rain wrapped for people is you're not going to see the twister in the sky.
It's
because there's so much rain around it, right?
Exactly.
So you won't see you know the usual funnel cloud sort of thing. The tornado, just because of rain wrapped, it's just saturated with moisture, and you're not going to see it. There's so much rain that's happening around it.
Okay, looking at the velocity, yeah, there's definitely, okay, this is what I'm seeing right now, Jeff. The greens are inbound, okay, so this is all inbound to the Doppler radar.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all inbound, this is all moving down like this, and then you're saying this is all outbound. My computer's lagging a bit, bear with me, I apologize. But notice that, I'm gonna go ahead and step in front of the chroma key.
Okay.
All right, so
right back here to chroma key.
Okay, so the greens, these are all inbound. This is your outbound, so right here is your circulation.
That's where the rotation is.
That's where the rotation is right now. So right through here. So let's go ahead and check that correlation coefficient, the debris tracker, and see if the Doppler radar is indicating anything that shouldn't be there.
And then we're going to recap it just so you don't see anything on debris.
Nothing
right?
there. All the rotation right now is aloft, meaning nothing has hit the ground as far as a tornado.
Yeah.
So if anything, this is a funnel cloud.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Oh, that is interesting. Where's that?
I'd have to confirm, but okay. Just some pictures coming in to us here. Yeah, I'll learn a little bit more of that, and can't do everything all together, right?
All right, let's go ahead and let's talk more about the line of storms right now and see where they're at while you're trying to get confirmation on that, Jeff. It looks like Lyme, you're seeing some very, very heavy rain right now. City of Watertown, we're okay for now. Okay, so if you're in the city of Watertown, you're downtown, you're walking around, look to your west. The sky's really dark. Definitely seek shelter. This line means business, and actually the city of Watertown is in the tornado warning. So
let's go back to the seriousness, the severity of what is going on, a tornado warning. And if you are in the tornado warning, the National Weather Service is telling you to seek shelter. If you're in your home, it is the innermost room, right, and lowest point of your structure that you're in.
If you have a basement, get in your basement. If you do not have a basement, interior closet, bathrooms are good. Mm-hmm. Interior, put as many walls as between you and the outside.
They're saying that if you're in a mobile home, trailer home, that is not safe, and that you should seek more sturdy shelter. If you're in a car, same thing. Don't go west, go east, and get away from it. And that tornado warning in effect until 2:30 this afternoon. So we're still in it. You don't like that.
I don't like the look of that at all.
So he's talking about what's followed Dexter and then down to Hounsfield. You see the maroon part, right? That C.
I don't like that. Yeah, that's.
What does it indicate? That's rain.
Indicating potentially wind and rain wrapping around the thunderstorm that's rotating right now. So. Okay. If I were to take a good guess as to where the best rotation is right now, right around this circle, right through here. That's where my best guess would be.
Okay.
So how many miles west of the city? We can go ahead and.
So I mean, frankly, it's coming in Route 3 west of Watertown.
There you see like
7 miles. That's Sackets Harbor.
West of the city, yes.
Yeah. So that's where we're talking. That is where the potential of the most severe part of this with the rotation. Do you want to check the indicator of debris? The debris tracker, just to see. We haven't checked that in a little bit because, again, this updates every few minutes, and that will show us if there are pieces of something or dirt or whatever up in the air. You don't like that, right?
I don't like that.
All right.
Let me do a little bit of work here, Jeff.
Sure. Okay. So what we're doing here, the debris tracker, all the red just means that it's wind and it's the usual stuff. When you see this blotch in the middle, just by East Hounsfield, that's where indicated by radar that something else is kicked up in in what's going on. And so you're shaking your head. What's
Could
it
just
mean?
be an anomaly. It could just be an anomaly.
Okay.
Okay, because there's nothing there.
Radar's not perfect. That's why we look at many different things here.
Notice how the bulk of the precipitation is still off to the west. If I saw the red over East Hounsfield, I'd be concerned. So maybe there's a lag in the radar. Who knows? But I'm not concerned about that.
Okay. So again, though, with the debris tracker, it kind of shows you what, if anything, is being kicked up in the air. That could be dirt. That could be leaves, trees, twigs, or sadly, property. But that is the severity of what is happening right now as we deal with a tornado warning. If you're just joining us, whether it's live on Facebook, on our social platforms, or here on the air at WWNY television, we are talking about a tornado warning that we have. You're looking at downtown Watertown right now.
Look how dark it's getting, Jeff.
It is, and that's the wrong direction. You're looking a little bit northeast.
We're looking north.
At that part.
North.
Yeah, so you're looking northeast out of town. It's the other way that we'd want to look for.
We're gonna look west.
For west.
Can we take the tower on the hill? Perfect.
There.
Could you are we looking west?
Yeah, totally, that's west.
Yeah.
I'm going to move away from our podium here just to take a look at that, because again, as we have the tornado warning, this is where it's coming from, right off the lake, and that's what we're looking at here. That's a little bit more of a northern view, so probably Cape Vincent Clayton Way, and then as our talented director JD is moving this a little bit farther to the south. Now we're looking more at like a just north of Sackets Harbor sort of stuff. So now you're looking at where some of this activity is coming from. That's the strongest of this. But again, this tornado warning that we're talking about encompasses quite a large area. It does include the city of Watertown. It goes until 2:30. We'll see what happens after that. We're talking about wind speeds that we've seen on our radar at like 70 miles an hour at least, with stuff that was coming into Henderson. Not sustained, but actually we hit 75. So not sustained. Those are gusts, but still incredible gusts to get from a summer storm coming in off of Lake Ontario. So as we have those strong winds, we also have the rain. Doesn't look like there's too much rain happening. This is Champion Hill, just to kind of put you where we are with this shot that we've pulled up here from our transmitter up on Champion Hill. So just in between Carthage and Watertown. So as we look at this, not a lot of rain right now in this area, but maybe a sprinkler or two, but things are going to get more intense as that rain does move closer to Champion Hill. And Watertown, we're talking about maybe 211. We're about there. 212 is where we are. So and we're about 10 after 2 o'clock here on your Tuesday afternoon, bringing you this live update on the air of a tornado warning that does include Watertown. Now, John's been looking at the different radar pieces of maps that he has, and on right now it says shear 18 meters per second. And that's what?
It's about 45 miles per hour.
Okay.
So there's definitely there's a lot of twisting.
Explain
in the atmosphere.
Okay, so explain shear compared to wind gust. Wind gust versus wind shear. What's shear mean?
Think about pushing a car out of a ditch, right? You're pushing it. That's like a gust. You're just pushing it straight ahead. Scissors. That's shear.
Okay.
That's your shear.
Okay.
Like more of a corkscrew.
So it's just cutting through?
Yeah.
Kind of, okay.
Yeah.
So, but we still have the stronger gusts of wind.
We do, yes.
Right,
we do.
because we were talking about, again, Henderson with about 75 miles an hour as that the thunderstorm came onto shore. We were talking about those kind of winds coming in off of the lake. That had to be incredible to be there in Henderson for that, or Sackets Harbor, or
Doppler radar
Chaumont.
just updated, Jeff, and notice what appears like there might be a little bit of a hook trying to form.
So again, tornado warning in that
V-notch.
area. Where do you see the hook?
There's a little V-notch right here. There's like a little notch.
Okay.
That's where there would be a spin up, or so right here.
So now we're north of Watertown just a little bit, and that's going to be tracking to Fort Drum if that continues on this east.
It said east of was that Brownville, right?
Yeah.
That's over towards Brownville. Yeah. Let's go ahead and zoom in on that.
Dexter, Brownville. It'll head up maybe in between Watertown and Philly. Yeah. Again, looking at our tower cam, this is the Champion Hill. Yeah, that's some interesting formation. Yeah, if you want to look at that, John, just to kind of just kind of gives you a good look. Looks like it's a lot of rain. Maybe on you can get on the.
Oh, you just saw that lightning. Did you see that lightning?
I didn't.
Yeah, that's
You can get on chroma key, right, for this? Could we put that up on chroma key for John to kind of talk about? Yeah, no worries.
Okay, all right.
So John's going to bring kind of hop in on TV here and show you our look here and just kind of what you see with the clouds that are in the sky there.
Okay. Well, while we're doing that, let me pop
It sounds
back
like
on
it's
the radar.
pouring in Watertown.
Oh, I'm sure it
Yeah, I
absolutely
can hear
is.
it on the roof. So that is, just as we were talking about, 211, 212, we're at now 213. So here we are with that rain as it does move into Watertown. So
Not liking that, not liking this Doppler radar. This appears to be a V-notch, appears to be potentially a hook trying to form.
So what's happening right now in that area?
It's we're seeing the twist in the atmosphere.
Okay.
All right, let's see what we got here. So we're looking west. Here's the heavy rain. You see, something is going on right here. There's something going on.
That's what you're talking about. Now, can you take the radar, JD? Can you do the radar and put John up there? Then this will zero in with where John's talking about. That's just north of Watertown. That's the Brownville area.
Yeah, right here.
It's that hook that is trying to form. It's not a hook, right?
Well,
Don't know.
I'll have to look at the velocity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right through here. That's where I'm concerned. So just south of Brownville, East Townsville.
That could be the trouble spot as
Could be the trouble
we're
spot. So
here
let's check
at
velocity
quarter
data.
after 2 with a tornado warning. If you are Brownville, Dexter, north of Watertown, just north of it, Fort Drum going into Calcium probably. If this is the real deal, this is definitely the point of worry right now as we throw and have throw a dart at it and bullseye this with where we're worried. It is this spot that John's talking about, which is over Brownville. And it could just be, the heavy rain and the wind. Again, there's so many different things that you have to get into in terms of, looking at your meteorological dictionary and all the maps that John has, all the resources John has to be able to forecast.
Well, that's some heavy rain, city of Watertown. It is pouring. It is pouring rain outside right now.
So
Jeff.
coming through right now, and as we have the tornado warning.
Don't like the looks of that.
So
over the city of Watertown.
over Watertown, why?
Over Watertown.
So it's not all red.
It's not. It's pouring outside right now, but so that should be all red, and that's starting to lighten up a bit. If it were blue, notice
Yeah.
like east. Okay, just updated.
Okay, so now it's out of there. So that might be why.
We'll
It's
have to
just
watch
lagging.
East Watertown. Yeah, there's a bit of a lag here. We got the 5-minute delay, right?
So now, if we're talking East Watertown, what was over there? I mean, is that more of the wind?
I think it's just the Doppler radar
Okay.
being the Doppler radar.
Okay.
I think we're good there.
So back to that.
Okay, back to this.
Right. So just south of Brownville, you see where the green is, and see how it kind of then leads into and kind of being swallowed up by the yellow. Yeah, there we go. That's where he's drawing. That is potentially where you're concerned, right? That's where you're concerned right now.
That's where I'd be concerned right now. Now, if you just follow the arrow, right? Give me a minute. So you're wrapping around like this, and then right through here. So this is where we need to be concerned right now. That's at 2:16. What time is it now?
2:16 is right now.
Okay, so perfect.
Yeah.
So just to the west of the city of Watertown. This is where I would be concerned, right through here.
So
that's where there could be a rotation, maybe a funnel cloud.
And this is moving. Is it east still?
East at 45, Jeff. So let's go ahead and we can time that out.
Because I think the tornado warning report that we read put it a little northeast.
Was it northeast?
It did. It was a little bit different vocabulary with what they said when they prompted at about 2 o'clock this afternoon the tornado warning, which goes until 2:30 this afternoon.
Let me get clarification on that. Let's see here.
Just to know. Yeah, so you can see Brownville, town of Hounsfield, town of Luray, Watertown is where this tornado is lit up right now.
Northeast at 40, good call. Yep.
Okay, so it's moving. So this is tracking north of the city of Watertown. If that is the problem spot coming out of Brownville and the Dexter area, that's going to move northeast. That's going to take you to Calcium. That's going to take you to Black River, and head you up that with Fort Drum naturally. Is just to our.
Don't. Let's not talk about this because I have to redo this. My map isn't zoomed out enough, Jeff.
Okay.
So I couldn't actually go 40 miles per hour. Let me go ahead and redo this again. We're doing this on the fly.
Yep. Live television. And so what he's doing right now is kind of timing this out for folks that could be in the path of this severe cell storm that's moving through. So there you go. If we're moving at 40 miles an hour with this storm, okay, we're going to take one of our weather cams. Look at that, John. That's the problem that you see?
That's the problem.
So that is what has been moving through. We can see, sorry, I don't mean to get into the chroma key, but
right here.
Yeah, that's it.
I wonder what this is.
That's not cool.
No, it's not. Let me check the radar.
That could be what John has been seeing on the radar, being around Brownville and worried about that area of some possible rotation. That a lot of, I know what everybody's thinking with that. looking at this picture right now, I know what's going through your mind and what you want to call that. I'm not sure if it is, but John Kubis will tell us what his indications are. Is it just heavy rain? Is that what we're seeing, or are we seeing some clouds coming down, out of that? But this is the area that you've been worried about.
It's hard to tell, Jeff. With all the rain outside right now, it really is hard to tell. I'm not really seeing a distinct signature on the Doppler radar. That I'm not seeing an intense red-green couplet on the velocity data like we saw last summer over Lewis County when I was absolutely sure.
Sure.
But there is rotation. With that being said, let me check the correlation coefficient, because if that's as ugly as it should be, there should be more than just rain there. So let me check that out.
So he can check that out. JD, are you able to, our director I'm talking to, are you able to zoom in with that camera on the hill, or is that just it just stays out? You're able to zoom in a little bit maybe? Just to kind of zero in and move toward that. So as we talk about this, as we talk about again, these are the facts, tornado warning. We're watching the area around Brownville. The storm is moving northeast 40 miles an hour. So as it moves northeast, it's going to be, this right here is going to be above, north of the city of Watertown, but it's going to be moving toward perhaps areas of Calcium or into the town of Luray, Fort Drum, could be Black River area as this moves that way.
Just rain.
Just looking at rain. You don't think that that was any kind of a funnel tornado activity?
Might have been a funnel, but I think it's...
Difference between a funnel and a tornado. A funnel cloud doesn't touch ground, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
We'll have to watch that, but I'm not overly concerned with that, just based on what I'm seeing on Doppler radar.
Okay, so John's looking at his different tools that he has for forecasting. What we're seeing and what was scary to see, just a lot of heavy rain. But nonetheless, that's a fact. We have a lot of heavy rain here in Watertown. We can hear it on our roof. And again, we have the tornado warning that we're dealing with here until 2:30 this afternoon. We're looking at another 10 minutes of this as it moves through the region. These are winds that you're looking at here.
Let's take chromaphyll.
Can we take our chroma key?
Let's take chromaphyll.
And
these winds right now are about 50, 55. Weather. I'm sorry, JD. Weather computer. Please.
And if we could show show the weather computer. There we go. Thank you.
Okay, so what we're seeing here, the greens are all inbound to the Doppler radar. The reds are outbound. So this is 26. Jeff, my conversion scale. What's 26 meters per second? Like 50?
You're about 55 miles an hour, 56.
So 55, 56 mile per hour winds right now coming into the city of Watertown. So think Watertown. Help me out here. What's south of the city? Watertown Center.
Adams
Center.
Could be Adams Center, sure. Kellogg Hill would be in there.
Strong winds.
Dry Hill coming into the southern part of town of Watertown. So those winds are moving your way. The other things, again, I just want to emphasize, tornado warning for another probably 10 minutes here. If there's anything that we're watching here with the tornado warning, it was just north of the city of Watertown, Brownville moving across. And again, if you're in this region, pay attention to the weather, how quickly it's going to change. Be ready to seek shelter. These are words from the National Weather Service. Prepare to seek shelter, and if you're in your home, get to the lowest point. If you are in a mobile home, you need to find better housing in terms of a structure that can sustain some wind here.
JD, can you give us the downtown cam, please?
If we can show live outside here in downtown.
It is pouring.
Yeah.
Right now, you could absolutely hear it on the roof. It looks like Fort Drum getting in on the action now, Jeff. A great bend. Think over towards your neck of the woods, towards Carthage, West Carthage, eventually impacting North Krogan.
Yep. And that always rides right up to Lake Bonaparte.
Yes,
so now we're get over to the eastern part of Lewis County. So as you look at this radar now, the activity that you saw for Brownville, still there a little bit, or
heavy rain, just heavy rain.
Right
now, and potentially some large hail too. We can't rule out the fact that we might see some large hail.
Okay.
Got the.
Yeah. Again, there's our outdoor cam. This is Champion Hill. It just shows you the amount of rain here.
It's just a wall of rain, Jeff.
It is. And again, the difference between funnel cloud, tornado, funnel cloud doesn't reach the ground. So I'm not calling that anything. I'm just, when you see that shot, everyone's going to think, oh, that looks.
It does, but that's why we have the Doppler radar.
That's why we have the science behind it. We can take a look at it. So, and you could see in that shot the rain that was coming down from those clouds. Again, this is the system moving through right now. Tornado warning goes until 2:30. Now, what's interesting is as that expires here for Watertown, Fort Drum, Town of Luray, Black River, back to, going to the lake, your Sackets Harbor and Henderson, this is going to expire here in the next probably 5 or 6 minutes. Where does it go after that? Things like this can regain energy, right? These kind of thunderstorms feed off of the heat that's in the atmosphere, and as this moves east, we have to continue to watch it to see if the National Weather Service does anything more, prompts any other warning.
The area of concern, Jeff, right now would be north of the city of Watertown. So hopefully I've zoomed out the map enough so we can talk about where this is all headed. Let's see, moving to the northeast at about 45 miles per hour.
Yeah, that might be too north.
Yeah, we'll kick it a little bit further south here.
Because the way it's been tracking, if it's just moving, remember this came out of Brownville,
Yeah,
right? So I think it was moving more of a...
I think I like this better.
Yeah, I think so.
So there you go. 225 Black River,
Yeah.
230 Great Bend, Diana 255, Fowler just after 3.
Yeah.
Oswegatchie 315. So we'll have to see, like you mentioned, these types of situations, you'll see a spin up, it'll fall apart, then it'll spin back up again within maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes. And if it does so, the area of interest is on your television screen.
So, and then, pay attention to that. If you're in that region, again, be ready to seek shelter or make quick decisions with where you need to be and what you need to be, where you need to be safe. But remember, you still have a lot of rain even to the southern end of this going into Lewis County. Lewis County Fair kicking off today. A lot of people at the fairgrounds. You have some wet weather, strong winds heading your way. Things should be out of here tonight for the parade that starts at 6:30. But in terms of what is most severe right now, the tornado warning for another 5 or 6 minutes, I think that we have another 5 or 6 minutes with our tornado warning goes until 2:30. And again, frankly, we're just getting to the east end of our box right now where that tornado warning is listed. We're getting to the very end of that box, and we'll see what the National Weather Service decides to do here after that, because you still have another swath of parts of St. Lawrence County into the Adirondacks, northern parts of Lewis County. If we're talking Town of Diana into Lake Bonaparte, those are areas that we're going to have to watch if this stays the way that it is right now.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see if the National Weather Service reissues this warning, Jeff. Something tells me they won't, but that doesn't mean that they won't pop up again in the next 10 minutes after, of course, it's allowed to expire. Heaviest of the rain right now appears to be, think I-81 and points south.
This hasn't died out.
No,
I mean, you saw this come in off the lake, and this still had this sort of color to it, and had the winds. And as it has moved into the region, it hasn't kind of lost its energy or petered out. It just kind of keeps on being strong, and that's the stuff that's in the atmosphere. The ingredients are right now because we were so warm today.
So warm, so humid, and also there's 24 meters per second. That puts it about 55 or 56 miles per hour. Think just to the east of Adams.
Okay, so we're talking about it'd be a wild ride across 177 for sure.
Yes, it would be.
And those are gusts. Those are not sustained. Those are gusts of wind. But you're looking at what John's doing right now, velocity
56.
And the minus ahead of that 25 means it's moving toward the radar.
Towards the radar,
right?
yes.
So if it's on the other side of it, it would be it wouldn't be a negative.
It would be positive.
So that's meters per second. So 25 meters per second again, 55, 56 miles an hour in terms of how much how strong those winds are. And we're looking at quite a bit of rain within here and a lot of wind. If you look on the eastern end of Watertown right now, that bluish whitish area is a worry.
That's 28 meters per second.
That's 60.
That's
60 miles an hour.
Yep, 60.
So those are 60 mile an hour gusts of wind that are moving through the city of Watertown right now.
If we could take the downtown camera, JD, so we can get an accurate feel of what's going on downtown right now.
Might show us a little bit of the wind. Well, there you go. That does explain exactly what's going on.
And those trees are. Is the wiper working, JD?
Maybe not.
Okay, so the wiper is not working, unfortunately, but we don't need it to see the strong winds. I mean, those trees are moving around quite a bit, and those trees are protected, Jeff. They're protected by some.
True, downtown you have the taller buildings and such, but definitely raining. We could indicate that just by hearing it on our roof here as we're in downtown Watertown. That camera clearly showing it as well. And then we're up on the hill. That's interesting. Look at the very far left of that screen. You have a clearing a little bit there, and that is it coming off of the lake. That's perhaps the back end of that, the light at the end of the tunnel, if you will.
Yes.
As this does this whole system moves in off of Lake Ontario, we're seeing, some clearing or at least brighter skies that way. But really, that difference is incredible with the amount of, just how dark those clouds are and just how much rain is in there. Oh, the wiper's working. How about that?
Oh, wow, that's yeah. Those trees are whipping around quite good, Jeff. And the rain. Look at the rain. The last thing we need is more rain after picking up all that rain last week from.
But it is moving quickly. It's not sitting over us. So I mean, we're not going to. I don't know rain totals off the top of my head, but I mean, the National Weather Service really didn't have too much. Okay, we got another tornado. No, maybe that's just a repeat. I just have another indication here given to me.
So.
Yeah, 228 goes until 2:30. The tornado warning that we have right now goes until 2:30. Okay, so a couple of minutes left of this, but clearly this is not over in terms of the energy.
Area of concern right here.
Okay, so now
we talked about how it would kind of fall apart and then spool back up. Mm-hmm. So right there.
So this is what happened, if you've been with us, and I hope you have, as we watched the storm system about 20 minutes ago. This was farther to the west of Watertown, over Brownville, and we saw what John is going to show you here on our radar. We saw this sort of
take this full, JD.
Yeah, what do you call this?
That's the that would be the rotation. That would be the hook, Jeff. The hook FO, the V notch. So you're talking.
So this is what we were watching over Brownville moments ago, yes. 20 minutes ago. This formed over there. It kind of changed and whatever, and here we are now as it moves to the east of Watertown. This sort of similar activity pattern is showing back up on the radar.
Yes, it is. So we'll have to see if the National Weather Service extends this warning.
So, or just issue a brand new one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at 2:30, we are about there, and we are looking just to see if this does update what we do get out of the National Weather Service. John's going through his different tools here to be able to show us what is happening with any kind of rotation in the air, but definitely strong winds. We had just moments ago 55-mile-an-hour winds that were happening in the city of Watertown.
This looks impressive.
All right, so again, this system, it's in the same area too. This is that one piece of this storm that's moving 40 miles an hour to the east. It was over Brownville and right across top of Watertown, north of Watertown, and here it is now to the east of Watertown following that track.
Okay, so greens and whites inbound. This is all inbound. This would be outbound. So right here is the circulation. This isn't, I don't think this is a tornado, because what you need is the red and the green right next to each other.
Mm-hmm. There's some spacing there.
There's a lot of space in here, but there's broad rotation just to the east of the city of Watertown. We'll have to watch this over the next couple of minutes. This is leading me to believe the National Weather Service will either issue a new warning or extend this one.
Right. So talk to me about topography, because if that's east of Watertown, that's going to go depending, it's going to hit some of Champion Hill and some higher elevations, or it could just go into more of like the Fort Drum, but the Black River Valley.
Right.
The valley wouldn't be good, right?
There's so much, or the valley would be bad. There's so much shear in the atmosphere that a little hill's not going to stop it.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
So no match, Champion Hill, for the energy that's moving through. Well, we've hit 231. We're going to stay on the air. Clearly, we have reason to, and we have this radar that is still very active. So the severe thunderstorm warning is going until 3:30.
Yep, it looks like they dropped the tornado warning.
Tornado warning dropped for the moment.
For the moment. But but with that being said, the Doppler radar indicating broad rotation outside right now.
And that's right in between Calcium and Luray. On your screen right now, you can see where the yellow is moving into the reds, and that we have some of that activity in that region. So if there's anything that's going to pop here, it's going to be within this region as we look at the eastern end of Jefferson County, and as we then look at moving into possibly Lewis County. This system is moving northeast, north, and it's more of an east, but it's just slightly north, but it's moving across at 40 miles an hour. This again was what we were seeing over in Brownville. We saw those pictures from our tower cam of just some interesting cloud formations over the Brownville area, and we're dealing with winds that are 40, 50, 60 miles an hour for gusts. This same cell just moving across the north part of Watertown and now into the Calcium area, that was causing what we saw on the radar moments ago. Now you're focused on the northern part of the county.
Now I'm just watching grain. It looks like think Bay South, Orleans, Theresa, Philadelphia. Get ready Oxbow, get ready Antwerp. You'll be dealing with some heavier downpours. Fort Drum, Black River, Evans Mills, Calcium. Here in the city, we've been dealing with the heavier rain. Still raining heavily out Brownville way.
Yeah.
And notice over towards Rutland, we'll have to watch this a little bit. It appears like there might be a little bit of a bow right here, just east of the city of Watertown. Let me go ahead and draw that out for you. That's where my main concern is right now. See this bow right through here? Kind of like you're drawing back. You're an archer, you're drawing back. So the strongest of the winds will come in on the back side of this bow, something like this. So now we're going to erase everything and check the velocity data to see how strong those winds actually are. See how it kind of bowed out a little bit more as it updated?
Yeah. Well, that's going to Carthage then. That's Carthage, West Carthage is what that's going to be, and then probably up to Harrisville.
And there you go. There you go. Those are very strong winds over Calcium right now, as indicated by Doppler radar. 26 meters per second. That's approximately 55, 56 miles per hour. There you see 25, so about 50, 55, 56 miles per hour winds right now. Headed into Calcium, headed into Black River, heading into Rutland, eventually Great Bend and Herrings. And we still have that broad rotation as well. Let me go ahead and zoom out a bit so we can get a better idea of the actual rotation itself. And remember, greens and whites are inbound and reds are outbound. So there would be your rotation, something like that. It's not tight though. You want a tighter rotation.
Sure.
We had the EF3 tornado in Turin. We had the very tight rotation, only just a couple of pixels, so to speak. This is a broad rotation.
That's from last year, by the way, that we're talking about.
Yes.
So again, we're looking at just severe thunderstorms right now, but some rotation in the air, which is the potential for. And the National Weather Service said that at the beginning of this, of today, with this forecasting the storm, is that a tornado or two could be likely as it moves through, and there we are with at least one, and that has expired. That expired at 2:30 this afternoon, but still a ton of energy in the air as we have the storm move through. Heavy rain in the Watertown area, some thunder that we just heard, but it's the wind that could be the story here with gusts. 55. It's been consistent with these gusts at 55 miles an hour for many locations. And again, that severe thunderstorm warning going until 3:30. So we have another 55 minutes here to deal with the severe thunderstorm warning and all that energy. And we're going to stay on the air here just because of we're seeing some possible rotation in the air, nothing that's confirmed or indicating any sort of tornado activity or anything like that.
Tornado possible. That's what the National Weather Service has tagged the severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible, just based on that, keying in on that broad rotation just to the east of the city.
Right, and just to talk bigger picture, we have severe thunderstorms all the time, but in the last year or two, we haven't had that kind of tag on our thunderstorms.
It's
a possible tornado.
Yeah,
or tornado likely. That wording they've used.
The way the pattern has been over the past couple of years, apparently we're doing this now. We've gone to the days where we didn't have to worry about tornadoes, right? And now we do.
Yeah, but it's not only crying wolf; it's actually happening.
Yeah,
we just went through something in terms of radar indicated tornado, in between probably Henderson and Watertown. That was earlier today, just north of the city of Watertown. It might have been the Brownville area. Don't know.
This is impressive. Let's go ahead and take chroma full.
Go for it.
And I'm basically looking right now at the actual radar itself, where the precipitation is the strongest, and we have to watch right through here. East of the city, notice where there's that red, that very dark red, right down through here. Think Tug Hill Plateau, right? Barnes Corners, Copenhagen, 177 over towards Lorraine. I'm sure Lorraine's getting absolutely pounded right now. Winona Forest up to Carthage. We'll have to watch this and see as it extends off to the east, because this is taking on the characteristics of a bow echo, and the strongest of the winds will be pointed right there at Barnes Corners, right there at Copenhagen, 177.
But John, that's the area. That area is going to be gun shy. How much rain are we talking? I mean, they just went through some stuff.
A quick 1 to 2 inches.
All right,
1.5, 2 inches.
Remember,
but it'll be quick though.
Lowville, and the Tug Hill the other day had 9.3 inches of rain, and that's when we saw all of that, flooding in the Lowville area. So I just point that out. It's going to be a quick inch or two of rain here. We're saturated, yes, but that shouldn't be sending, Lowville shouldn't become the bathtub again.
Let's go ahead and time this out for Lowville, because with all they've got the fair going on, right?
Right.
Let's hope they know what's heading there.
They do. Well, I was there earlier today, and they were definitely, knowing that a couple of hours of today would be, take cover, head inside.
We'll time this out at 40, 45 miles per hour. I think it's moving closer to 40, but I'd rather err on that side of caution. So the actual line itself right now, 241 Wilna, 244 Denmark, Lowville at just before 3, Watson top of the hour 3 o'clock, Oswegatchie 313. West turn 317, and then there you see Lionsdale around 325. So expect strong, damaging wind gusts, some hail, and heavy rain.
Can we check out the velocity? Can we go and check out some of the winds that are associated with this area in the south of Watertown? Because we've been seeing winds consistently gusting at 55, 60 miles an hour,
just popped the warning for Lewis County.
A severe thunderstorm warning
severe thunderstorm
is
warning.
What we're looking at here, or is that the watch?
That's should be a severe thunderstorm warning in the yellow. The pink is the watch. Jeff.
Gotcha. Thank you.
There you go. Severe thunderstorm warning for
Okay.
Lewis County. They're saying tornado possible with this. Let's see. Severe thunderstorm warning, Jefferson County, Lewis County, and northeastern Oswego County until 3:30. Looks like severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near Clayton to Glen Park to near Sandy Island Beach State Park, moving east at 40 miles per hour. Hazard 70 mile per hour wind gusts and ping pong size hail. And they're saying there is some rotation in this line, so a tornado is possible. Let's go ahead and check the velocity data to see how strong these winds are right now as this line of severe thunderstorms moves through the North Country and has already moved through the city of Watertown. And these winds on Doppler radar have been upwards of 70 to maybe 75 miles per hour, but right now we're seeing wind gusts potentially up to about 55 to 60 miles per hour. That's rather interesting right there, just east of the city of Watertown. That's
getting tighter.
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's starting to tighten up.
So the greens and the reds are what we are talking about here. Moments ago, this was sort of more expanded. They weren't as close together here, but as they become tighter and we're drawing in the rotation here, that could be the area that becomes a point of worry here for the National Weather Service if they're watching, if they need to issue anything with any kind of rotation in the air.
That's Fort Drum.
Sure. Yeah, that's Wheeler-Sac Airfield is where that is.
Yes, it is.
So we're going to watch that as it comes across. Again, a long line of thunderstorms from the top part of Jefferson County. It was just south of Alex Bay, actually.
All red. That's good.
That's a good sign.
Nothing is being lofted from the ground that shouldn't be there.
Right.
So this is all red.
Yeah. Well, but you need it to update too, right? So it's like you don't know. It could update in the next couple of seconds here. And something new could hit. But strong rain, heavy rain we're having right now, strong winds as we look at the debris tracker. And now back to the radar. And again, there's that line of thunderstorms just south of Alexandria Bay coming right down 81. And then right out of the county, Richland and clearly into Pulaski and those sort of. Can you back it out anymore? Is this anything that, remember the other day we were talking about, many areas of New York State that were dealing,
yes.
that was many areas of the state dealing with a tornado warning. Okay, this is Syracuse area, so just because that's on your screen, I just want to explain it. Yeah. The tornado warning, looking at the Syracuse area, is what that one is. So that's not us. But I was interested because the other day we had 7 or 8 tornado warnings around upstate New York.
That was Beryl. That was the effects of Beryl.
Yeah.
This is a smaller system. This is a tight, wound up system that formed last night because of those thunderstorms near Chicago, and that's what's blowing on through. And actually, it's the proximity to the North Country. This system is actually moving over the city of Watertown, and that's why we're dealing with this type of weather. A little bit of spin in the atmosphere doesn't take much with all that heat and humidity outside. So
again, looking at severe thunderstorms for Jefferson, Lewis counties as well, Lewis County as well, and moving 40 miles an hour to the east, slightly northeast. And now we're getting, the front of this is, Carthage is getting in on this, getting over into the town of Denmark, going to be hitting Lowville here, the next 15 minutes probably, 15, 20 minutes. Back to the area of Fort Drum, Great Bend, Wheeler-Sac Army Airfield, looking at it there with some heavy rain, and again, it just updated. And looking at any more tightening there that you can see, John, or not as...
Definitely worth watching. Definitely worth watching. This is this rotation. It's still rather broad, but it has shown an indication of potentially tightening a bit, and that's what you want to see. That's not what you want to see because that means that the system is getting stronger. So if you want a stronger system, you see tighter rotation. Think of a figure skater, right? When their arms are out versus when their arms are by their body. When their arms are by their body, they spin faster.
That's a great analogy. As we are working our way through this, a lot of you will have pictures of what you saw in the sky. Video is better than pictures, FYI, when it comes to this. John likes to be able to look at the video because we can see if there is rotation or anything within that. But as you're out there, and if you're doing it, you have to do it safely. If you're going to send anything to 7, you have to do it safely. But do that for us. Some pictures, video that you might have. Go to our website at WWNYTV.com and click on Send It to 7 and get us that stuff. Show us what you're seeing, because we want to be able to share that with the North Country. And you know, you're going to see it probably before we do. So you know, do it safely. That's the big thing as you're out. You know, as we have these severe thunderstorms moving through. You know, I'm thinking now as this moves through, the folks that are along the lake, maybe town of Henderson, Sackets Harbor, if it's just a little bit of rain right now, you know, why don't, if you're able to take any pictures of what happened. I also want to know if there are any power outages. So let me just kind of do a little phone stuff here and see what we have for power outages.
There has to be some. With these waves.
With the amount of rain or winds, the 55 mile an hour.
And the ground is...
Yeah, there we go.
We're hearing reports of no power in Sackets Harbor. Still watching this rotation, Jeff. It looks like just north of Champion, over towards Fort Drum. We'll have to keep an eye. We'll have to definitely keep our eyes on this. And if it holds together, it looks like DeFerriot definitely take shelter. Great Bend, Wilna, eventually Natural Bridge, North Krogan, and also over towards Carthage as well, and even Champion. Some stronger wind gusts potentially up to 60 to 70 miles per hour. This system is currently warned by the National Weather Service in Buffalo. And it looks like the worst of the weather right now will be around Fort Drum. Let's go ahead and check a little bit down farther to the south, because I know Lowville, you've got your fair going on, and you have an interest in the weather, so to speak. This just updated. It looks like Barnes Corner seeing some heavy rain, potentially some hail. Notice west of Denmark, Wilna getting ready to get some very incredibly terrible weather with heavy rain and also potentially some ping pong size hail as well.
Yeah, I mean, just left of that, or to the west of that is Carthage, West Carthage. So there you go. That you know, you're going to get some rain there. Definitely
some heavy rain and some gusty winds. A little bit further down to the south, Pinckney getting some heavy rain. Copenhagen, you got absolutely poured on. That's the last thing you need on the Tug Hill Plateau after all that rain from Barrow last week. Worth Center, sparsely populated out that way, Winona Forest, but with that being said, heavy rain, gusty winds extending down towards Boylston.
So the severe thunderstorm warning going to continue until 3:30 in the afternoon here today, so another 45 minutes. But as the National Weather Service has pegged this, it's that tornado is possible because of the rotation in the air, because of the energy, and you know, this as it moves into this new area to the east and into Lewis County, eastern part of Jefferson County. Again, it's feeding off of that warm air that's over, you know, the North Country. So this could spark more activity, could get a little bit more vicious, but we are already talking wind gusts of 55, 60 miles an hour. That's been consistent throughout the area. Not a sustained wind, but we were, you know, 55 miles an hour. And earlier we had one reading here with our tools of in the Henderson area of 75 mile an hour for a gust of wind earlier as this came in off Lake Ontario.
I wonder if anybody in the newsroom is listening right now. If you are, do me a favor, hop on a New York State Mesonet and start looking at some of those sites. You've got Belleville, which would be a good site. Over toward, there's one near Copenhagen, and that's going to show us, Jeff, those are basically weather stations in the North Country that will give us how strong the winds were and actually tell us if it's still raining or not. So that would be amazing if we could get some ground. That's called ground-based truth, to see if the Doppler radar is actually indicating what's happening at the ground. Still watching this rotation, Jeff. Don't like this at all one bit. Now, it's not all that tight. But notice the greens and the reds, the greens being inbound to the Doppler radar, so something like this, and then the reds being outbound, so still a broad area of rotation located, it looks like just east of the city of Watertown, think east of Black River, over towards Great Bend, Wilna, north of Champion, and get ready Carthage, as this area of broad rotation gradually heading your way.
You know, a lot of people are also communicating with us on Facebook, and you're watching us live from the North Country and you know, parts around the world. But if you're sharing with us on our Messenger, on Facebook Messenger, pictures and video, please go and send that to 7. We have to have you be able to go over to our Send It to 7 and give it to us there, because that is the way that we can get your video and your pictures, for lack of a better term, to air. That's the way that we can get them to be produced for television. So if you can do that and go to Send It to 7, you know, a lot of these pictures that we're getting, I'm not going to talk about them on the air because I want to vet them first, but you know, just some interesting things that you are seeing, and we want to be able to see that as well. And you know, it's just interesting, the different perspectives that you guys are seeing as you're around. Yeah, there's some damage in Sackets Harbor.
Oh boy.
That I can confirm. Some
boy.
trees are down. That looks like around the battlefield. So Sackets Harbor took kind of a hit here.
I would say a direct hit.
Yeah,
I would definitely see that. Well, watching just south of Antwerp, Jeff, a little bit of a V-notch. What we'll see a lot of times at the leading edge of a squall line, we'll see these little spin-ups. They're not tornadoes, they're gustnadoes, and you'll see like a quick spin-up, and that's kind of what I'm seeing here right now north of Wilna. Good news is that's a sparsely populated area. Think out towards the ranges out at Fort Drum. So that's what I'm seeing right now. And looking at the velocity data, I do believe that's where that broad rotation appeared to be. Yeah, there you see it right there, that broad rotation. It appears to be weakening now. Hasn't really tightened up all that much. So think of a figure skater with her arms out. She's spinning, but she's not spinning all that fast. We'll wait to see if this happens to tighten up, but it hasn't so far.
So just to talk this through with our director, to John Seymour, I've sent you a picture that I'd like to get to air if we could. If we can show Sackets, it's going to take us a minute to be able to do this. But if we're able to maybe get that produced, that would be great to be able to show people. But some trees down in Sackets, kind of, and the road clearly would have to be shut down because of the mess that's there. But you know, when this came in off of Lake Ontario at about, we came on the air at 1:42. 143, it came in at about maybe 150, maybe a little bit sooner. But when it did come in, we really had the strong winds that came in off Lake Ontario. Places like, I think Chameau may have been a little bit covered, but I'm not sure. But places like Chameau, Sackets Harbor clearly is going to have a problem after this. Henderson Harbor had wind speeds of maybe 70 or 75 miles per hour as a gust of wind. So as the storm moved in off Lake Ontario, those communities along the lake really took the brunt of this. Now the winds didn't get you know, much weaker as we were you know, more inland, because it was still 55 miles an hour for wind gusts. But at the very beginning of it, those areas of Sackets, Henderson Harbor took the brunt of it, it appears, with the potential damage from trees being down and such. When I looked at power outages, I didn't see an astronomical amount.
Okay.
That I thought was weird, but it's harder to read off of my phone. I'd rather be at my desk.
It appears like everything is beginning to weaken a bit.
And that's good news.
I'm not seeing the intense blues and the whites inbound to the Doppler radar. What I'm seeing right now, I'm still rather strong winds, but I'm not seeing those 50 to 60 mile per hour winds potentially on the Doppler radar. So sure, now we're just dealing with the heavy rain. There is a little bit of rotation up towards Fort Drum, but it appears like right now the worst of us is behind us. Now that doesn't mean that something can't spin up rather quickly, because all the ingredients are there.
What about to the south and like heading toward Lowville with the rain that was you know, going toward Lewis County?
Winds have diminished quite a bit. I wonder if maybe it hit the Tug Hill Plateau and that might have weakened it a bit due to frictional effects.
So again, if you're on Facebook and you're sending us pictures via our Facebook Messenger, please go and send it to 7 on our website at WWNYTV.com. That's the best way. That's the way that we can get things to television, and then we're able to share that later on today. Severe thunderstorm warning continuing until 3:30 this afternoon for parts of Jefferson, Lewis counties. We'll stay on the air here just for a little bit more to make sure nothing does pop. But if this does kind of peter out, dies down, and the energy dissipates a bit, we'll be able to get people back to regular programming, and we can go back to producing our broadcast for later here tonight, and clearly be with you to show you some of the storm damage from exactly what happened here in the North Country with the things that moved through. And again, a lot of great pictures, and we're going to have to take a look at some of this stuff before we take it to air just to verify.
That's not a tornado.
No.
No. That's very, very impressive stuff.
And I you know, it's not polite to talk about it in front of you, but I want to look at the pictures as they come in, and I have sources I trust, and so that picture I'd be happy to share because I trust that person.
There's that rotation, Jeff. We've been watching that. That was in Brownville, 45 minutes ago. That prompted the National Weather Service to issue that tornado warning. Rather weak, and it appears like it's still there. The rotation is still there. We'll have to see if it tightens up. But right now, that's why it's only a severe thunderstorm warning as opposed to a tornado warning.
So you're saying this is the stuff that was over Brownville area back when we had the tornado warning. You know, if you're just joining us in terms of like, why are they on the air? We did have a tornado warning, and hopefully, you know, you learned that some way, somehow through, most likely here at Channel 7, through our weather app, through our news app. I hope that you have those downloaded. Those kind of warnings get to you immediately when we have something like this. But, you know, we had this, and we were on the air with a tornado warning earlier, and it was that Brownville area, Dexter, Brownville, that had more of the activity, more of the interesting rotation in the air. Now, if anything really, you know, came out of that with, the National Weather Service will be the one to determine that, but it was radar indicated of a tornado in that region. So now, as John was just saying, it's moving, you know, northeast. It's mainly east, but very slightly north, but taking it just a little bit of that direction. And you know that cell, continuing to watch it just to see if that rotation comes back, because it could as you know, it moves into areas where there is still some of that humidity that's in the air. So you're looking now at the line of thunderstorms.
Trying to time this to see when it's out of our hair.
That would be nice, huh?
West Turn 313, Oswegatchie 323. Just speaks to how fast this is all moving, Jeff. So this will be all out of here by 3:30ish.
Yeah, it'll be out. But we may be able to hop off the air sooner than that. We'll see as we get closer to the the 3 o'clock hour. But you know, nothing has popped in terms of a tornado warning for a half hour now. Okay, so we're tornado warning from 2 to 2:30. Prompted by the National Weather Service, triggered because of rotation in the air, and then they allowed that to expire. But the storms kept on moving to the east, Carthage and West Carthage. It's absolutely pouring right now, but we haven't had any other tornado warning prompted by the National Weather Service, and that's the better news out of what we have now. We still have winds of 55 miles an hour, gusts that are out there potentially being, 40, 50, maybe even, stronger earlier today in the town of Henderson, like 75 miles an hour.
And over the lake, that's when I originally saw this a couple of hours back. I was watching winds over the lake, potentially 70, 75 miles per hour. Now, granted, the further away the Doppler looks, the higher the beam is above the ground. So. Sure. So right now, it's actually almost seeing to the ground, and you're seeing velocities of -16, which is about 30, 35, 36 miles per hour. So
good deal. So I have a picture I want to share with folks. It's from the Sackets Harbor area, and I'm just going to step over toward a monitor to kind of take you through it. But this is where some strong winds moved through earlier today. This system moved in off of Lake Ontario at about maybe 145, 150 today. And so that's where we're looking at with Sackets hitting a little bit of the brunt of the storm here. It's those lakefront communities of Sackets and Henderson Harbor, maybe Chaumont. Chaumont got a lot of rain in the beginning, but I'm not sure about the winds. But these winds came right in off the lake, and you can see some trees down, and there's some damage there in Sackets Harbor. Power could be out in Sackets as well. We have that from someone here in our newsroom who lives in that region, so they know they don't have power. But I don't think it's a widespread power outage. I'd have to go to a map to take a look at that. And if folks in the newsroom might know what power outage is, what the situation is, I'd be happy to share that. But I didn't see anything that was, jaw-dropping in terms of, which is amazing with those kind of winds that come in off of
Any
Lake
idea
Ontario.
when the timing on that photo?
No, but after 2 o'clock, I would guess.
Let's go ahead and take chroma full, because this is the Doppler radar at 208.
Oh, I see. So you're going to backtrack a little bit. Okay.
Backtracking and seeing exactly what came on through. So then there you go. See that little bit of a bow? What we always talk about, we always watch for is that bow right through there, and that's what caused all that damage out in Sackets. So those winds Very strong enough to knock down trees, and you don't have power out that way. So, and we can actually check the velocity data as well and see exactly how strong those winds were as that line of storms moved on into your neck of the woods out Sackets way a couple of hours back. And notice those whites showing up on your television screen. That's a whole lot of wind heading into Sackets, Hounsfield. This was at 2:04, so a couple of, an hour and 20 minutes ago. But there's 30, 28, 29, 30 meters per second. That's 67 mile per hour winds on Doppler radar, which makes which begs the question, okay, what does it look like south? Where south of Sackets, down towards was that Rural Hill, down that way, down towards Belleville. What does this look like down here?
Yeah.
And to that point, what does it look like here?
Yeah.
Down towards Henderson.
Yeah, things were a little bit worse to the east of Henderson Harbor, but some strong winds indicated with the whites and blues that you're seeing there. And again, this is from just after 2 o'clock this afternoon.
This is an hour ago.
The reason we're doing that is because of the picture that we were showing you regarding Sackets Harbor. Sackets, some power outages, but trees down in that community after these storms have moved through. After that 2 o'clock, it moved in toward Watertown, and then the National Weather Service put up that tornado warning earlier, and that went from 2 to 2:30. They allowed it to expire, and here we are now with things really kind of falling apart in terms of the energy here.
We'll call it just kind of raining itself out, so to speak.
Okay.
That broad rotation we saw over Brownville about an hour and a half ago that prompted the tornado warning that moved over towards Fort Drum. It's really weakening quite a bit, Jeff.
So, and this is where I turn to you. Are you comfortable if we get off the air now?
I am.
So what we will do, we will do that. So prepare for us to go back to regular programming in terms of our great crew in the back. Thank you for bringing us to air and to Facebook here to bring you this update. Again, as we were on the air for an hour and a half now, we had a tornado warning. We had some activity north of the city of Watertown. Toward the west, Brownville, some interesting things happening that way. Sackets having some trees down, and there's quite a mess in some areas, some communities that are dealing with the aftermath of the storm. Not over with just yet, but the energy is weakening.
It's dissipating.
Yeah, but the rain is going to be there as it moves closer to Lowville.
Rain, definitely anticipate some heavier rain. You might pick up a quick inch and a half really, really, really fast over the next couple of 30 minutes or so.
So if there's a reason for us to come back on the air, we will, but we'll hop off the air for now, and we will gather our thoughts, and John will do some more forecasting. We'll get ready for our broadcast at 5 o'clock with John Moore and 6 o'clock with myself, and we'll be gathering all of the things that you have seen as well. Our reporters are out there, but if you have some video, if you have some pictures, go to our website, Send It to 7. It's great for us to see it via Facebook, but we need to have it on that Send It to 7. So please do that for us, and we're able to share it with the North Country. So for now, we'll go back to regular programming after a busy couple of hours, at least an hour and a half here on the air. We'll see you later on.